Hey, hey, hey. Since that last podcast got abruptly ended because I'm a moron and I hit the wrong button, let's continue it a little bit. Look, corporate greed is exactly the root of our problem in this country because of our capitalistic ideas and I love capitalism. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I think it produces the best out of society and so forth. But there is a time where you can go too far. Remember, that is one of the topic things I always kept reoccurring in a lot of podcasts is too much of anything, and I do mean anything, is a bad thing, folks. And capitalism is great, but when you're watching the corporations that are built become the very monsters in our society, you got to find some inspiration. And I'm telling you right now, the one movie that comes to mind that I want to give you tonight, because you know me, I always like to throw a little movie recommend, and I did not get in that into my last ramble, but let's go ahead and throw it out there right now, and that is Fight Club. That's right, the 1999 film starring Edward Norton, Brad Pitt, and of course Helen Bonham Carter. Great cast, directed by David Fincher, one of my favorite directors of all time. Visually stunning movie, but the idea of the movie, and everybody's like, Fight Club, I don't like fighting. Okay, well, that's not what it's about, okay? When you watch a movie, usually there's some type of message in it, usually. And this movie deals with corporate greed and the ideas of taking everybody back to zero, where nobody, like literally, like billionaires lose everything. It's a brilliant concept movie. Great plot twist. Never seen the movie before. It's a great film to watch. But they fight in Fight Club because they want to feel alive. You know what? There are certain scenes in the movie, because it deals with therapy too, okay? At one point, this guy becomes an insomniac, and so he goes to therapy groups, just all like cancer survivors, testicle, all kinds of, testicular cancer, and smoking, all kinds of groups, just so he can hear people's lives are worse than his, and it makes him sleep. Pretty funny, but we all kind of live off of that. Like I said in the previous podcast, if you think your life is horrible, just listen to some other people out there, and you will find out that it's not that bad. It's not that bad, and you will figure it out, whatever it is. And Fight Club is a great movie to think about, because, seriously, we're at that point in society. Literally, this movie is so dead on to where we are today. At some point, the group grabs a politician from in the bathroom at a function and reminds him that we are the people that pick up your trash, we deliver your food, we take care of everything. Do not fuck with us. And we are at a point where the system, corporate ran system, politicians and all, including our government, our current government, and that we are trying to let them know very nicely that you are fucking with us. So when does it get to that point where they listen? Where they actually pay attention and we don't have to do another 1776. You know what? We just got through going through 9/11. It's 2023. It's been 22 years since that fateful day, and we will never forget. Well, also never forget 1776, bitches, because that was the year that this motherfucker was established, based on people over government. That's a very drastic change from many societies in other countries, the way their countries are ran. Usually it's government, king, whatever, over people. But here, we establish people first before government. So that's what makes our country kind of a roadblock for a lot of world issues today. I mean, if you got a bunch of countries that are all ran the same way, like they have the same type of system, government over people, king over people, whatever, dictator, whatever, then it's easy for them to get together and decide what they're all going to do that works best for them and blah, 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 controls the people. But then you have this one fucking country. Well, actually, there's several. Jamaica, for example. Look into the history of them. I think they were established 1 year later, but probably about the same time, if not before America. And they also, people before government, they were a very democratic country. They believed in republic, and that's amazing. I love finding out history stuff like that. But we were the major player. We were a very large country. Everybody, at that point in time when we were established, we weren't even fully discovered yet. So, I mean, that was a very big thing. We were a roadblock, and that's what we developed into, was this big roadblock for the world to ever, if the world was ever going to get on the same page, the same evil government over people page, then they have to somehow flip America to where it's government over people, to convince the people to give up everything that was, founded on the whole reason why we've gotten to this point, that you're allowed to live the stupid little life that you got, and just give it all away. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Red Hot Chili Peppers throwback there for you. But anyway, this 1999 film references a lot of mental issues that we deal with in society today, and how I don't know what to say about it. If you don't, I almost feel like the therapy in this country is just another ploy to get people to be obedient and independent. Not independent, but dependent on government assistance. We have to break from that, folks. I know that's a hard thing to say, because a lot of people feel like, and that's the brainwash effect, by the way, that they are deserving to be taken care of by their government. And that puts the government in a very strong position. And when you convince most of the country that they deserve something, there was a saying that was echoed through my childhood, and I never hear it hardly anymore, by one of the greatest presidents we've ever had grace the Oval Office, and he was a very flawed person, but he was a great leader for our country, and that was John F. Kennedy. I knew a lot of you were about to think, oh, he's going to say Trump, but no, JFK. Okay, and at one point in the speech, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Right now, folks, your country needs you more than ever. It's been secretly overthrown from within, and they're trying to flip the script on you. You got to pull a little fight club in your life and live your life. Break free from the therapy. Develop your own. And what I mean by that is that there's nobody out there that's going to give you the answers that you have within yourself. And here's one thing you got to accept. Okay, this is the first therapy lesson for all you motherfuckers out there. And I'm being straight up fucking honest with you, because I'm a little frustrated, and I don't know how long we have to be anally raped. Yeah. So many times in a row by the same two parties that run our country before you just I mean, it's not like it's like you want to be raped. Okay, it's not like they're forcing you down. It's almost like you pull your pants down and just bend over, and you can't stand it, but you can't walk away from it. That's what you're voting like right now, America. You're voting like a victim. I want to be victim of rape. Now, what insane thought process is that, right? But it makes sense compared to what I'm comparing it to. And that's why your voting process right now in America, Folks, I'm sorry. I just had a phone call there. So now my whole train of thought is off a little bit, but I'm trying to remember where I left off that there. Yes. Oh, voting. The way the voting. Oh, I hate being in the middle of a really good rant and I get sidetracked like that, but that's what happens. Handling business, but anyway, yes. So you get the logical thought. You have to accept the fact that if you want to change what's happening in our country, you're going to have to, and you don't want to go to a civil fucking war over taxation, basically, because you can forget all those social issues that separate you motherfuckers and what you argue about and fuss about, and he's black, he's white, he's got dreads, he shouldn't have that because it's not his culture and all that. Oh my God, and you don't know my pronouns. I don't know anything about what the fuck you do at home, motherfucker. So, unless you walk around with a fucking billboard on your fucking forehead, don't expect me to know the fuck anything about you. We got to get off that whole concept there. And another thing, folks, we have the freedom of expression in this country. I embellish it so much, and I embrace everybody to fully be who the fuck they want to be. Okay, and don't let anyone tell them any different. But don't go out there and expect people to fucking acknowledge it or fucking even respect it. Because you also have the very right to disagree with people, not listen to them, or not support them. Okay? You have that choice to just shut the fuck up and move the fuck on. Okay? But a lot of motherfuckers out there don't. This is the culture side I don't like. Okay? I do not like the if I don't like something, I have to say something about it. That would save a lot of people a lot of problems. And it also would continuously, it would take away from the continuous fighting that we have amongst ourselves as a society, which keeps us devoided from the obvious fact that if you go into a voting booth, you can simply vote for anybody else besides Republican and Democrat. You can vote for fucking Andy fucking, I don't know, Nutt. All right, I'm making up names. Andy Nutt is running for the fucking nutty, the fucking, Nut Butter Nation fucking ticket, okay? And he would do a better job than any Republican or Democrat you put in office. If you can't accept that, then you're the problem. You are so brainwashed, you believe that one of these two parties is the fucking savior of our goddamn country when it's you. It's fucking you. And all you got to do is go into a voting booth and not vote for a Republican or Democrat. I don't see how we can't push that enough to each other to voice that, hey, you know what? We're on different sides, but we both feel the same fucking way. Let's come together and get rid of these motherfuckers and find people who actually represents us. That's the problem. Both parties have a majority of people in it that feel misrepresented. And then they're hearing from their party that it's the other party's fault. So they go out there and they fight with other people. And when you talk about it, you find out you both feel the same fucking way about it. Oh, I don't like the price of everything. Well, fucking no shit. You know what? I don't care how different you are and how different you live. Everybody's getting anally raped at every fucking cash register you go to. I don't even know why they call them cash registers anymore, because eventually they're just going to be called I think they are just called registers anymore. I still call them a cash register because they hold cash. And eventually, I think within the next 5 years, that's going to be tried to push through in this country. I hope it never happens. I hope we have some form of physical currency always available in this country, because that represents freedom. That's interchangeability among people who doesn't want to report their fucking private money takings. Now, if they ran a business, yeah, that's different. Business money, that's accountability. Blah, blah, blah. Personal money, not so much. It's just like the simple fact that I, for example, have a bad personal credit financial situation. I do. I can run a business off its ass and make it a lot of money, but when it comes to me taking care of my personal spending, I'm bad. I'm horrible. But I can make money like a motherfucker. That's just what I do. And especially for people I work for. I've gotten into an independent business where I make my own money. And I make them money, and then I get a certain amount. And so if I make them a lot more money, maybe I can make more money. But even down at this level, it doesn't happen like that. And because of my personal credit rating, I wasn't allowed to have a business. I put 9 years improving invoices, receipts, yearly numbers, profits, never going backwards, always going forwards, wasn't good enough to oversee my credit rating. That was a betrayal that hurt me because I really honestly believed that when I got interviewed that I had a chance. If you saw my credit rating before we had the interview, then you could have just told me, hey, there's no point in this interview because just your credit rating alone was me. I have to say no. Don't waste my time. But unfortunately, there's nowhere I can go where that would be different. But what they didn't understand was my credit rating, my whole level of life, even my tax bracket would have changed if I would have been given the opportunity to have my own business with them. But instead I stayed an employee. It was given to someone else that I watch not do it. It just shows that there's a system of, regulations and stuff like that out there that make it impossible for people to move up. It's purposely done. And it's all corporately ran. Not even politically. Politicians are tools. We got to take those tools away from the corporations. That way they can't do so much. And we need to put the politicians on our side so they can regulate the corporations. Do you not understand that? Do you not understand that neither party will do that? We need real people who have real lives to represent us. Folks, if you can't go into a voting booth and fight by just simply voting for somebody other than Republican and Democrat, then you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, why are you so goddamn foolish? And if you took that personally, whatever, I don't care how the fuck you take it. The point is, if the shoe fits, fucking wear it. Because it's true. You are the only people that can save this country. The country cannot save itself. The very government we never trusted the very day we knew we had to have it, but we knew that it would be corrupt one day. Career politicians are about the most evil form of a position in life I've ever seen. It's a professional liar, crook, thief that we love for some odd reason. And when a good, honest leader comes in there, even, like I said, JFK, very flawed human being, bad husband, all kinds of stuff. But, wow, what a great leader. Spoke with, just told the truth. Said shit we all, that's why Americans believed in him. And it's sad to say that that's the reason why he was assassinated, and that's the reason why our own government killed our president. And the fact that it's widely known now and not it's just crazy. It's crazy the world we live in, and it's all corporately owned and ran. It can be flipped. We can reclaim our country, and we can do it without a civil revolution within ourselves. All I'm saying, folks, you're all getting fucked. Please realize it and do something about it. Next election, if we can get to it, by the way, of course, if you've heard the previous podcast, World War III, possibly a pandemic, whatever to interfere with our own election process. And by the way, folks, I believe in, yes, you got to show up, show an ID saying, hey, this is me, and go in and vote. No write-in ballots, no, just fucking, I don't understand that. I know we live in a way where I can't trust anything anymore, so I don't know how you can improve the voting process. We live in a digital time where I think you should have your own app, and that you should be able to keep up real time with what's going on, in a voting day. It shouldn't take longer than a day to, we just live in a better time, and we're making it way more it's bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It can be so much easier. Like I said, it's the complex political, they make all this fucking money, and they all become millionaires, and our fucking, you can go into any government building and they don't have a good running, functioning computer to save their life. They're all using their personal fucking, devices to actually do the work with. It's sad. It's really sad how mismanaged. We would fire these people if we could. Oh, term limits. We need representation in our government, folks. It's really bad. And the fact that the echoing call, what JFK said, ask not what your country can do for you. It's totally opposite. They want you to ask for the help of the government. They want you to ask what your country can do for you. It's totally different message now. Ask what you can do for your country. They don't want you to do anything. They want you to keep going out there and doing just what that corporation wants you to do. Because we got the corporations back. Because they're tools. Take away the tools, folks. Change your vote. Fight back. Live your life. And let go of the brain therapy that they all got you on. And the pharmaceutical drugs. It's really the most insane. And this all comes back from an originating plan started by J.D. Rockefeller. That's right, Mr. Rockefeller himself. That's the deep rabbit hole that you always got to... That's where it kind of all comes back to. The corporate blow-up. The birth of the takeover with capitalism kind of thing. The Titanic even. Just insane. J.P. Morgan Chase, all that. Just, oh, wow. They were fucking insane. Period. Fight Club, folks. Check it out. 1999, David Fincher. The second, if I'm not mistaken, on my top 10 films of all time. I believe that I put that one at second. And it sometimes it goes into first. Right now it's more relevant than ever. And it's almost a mirroring image back of what society is today. So I definitely suggest you watch that film. And if you want to watch a great action flick, a true romance, stellar cast, I don't know why that just keeps popping in my head, but Fight Club. It's not about fighting. They did it just so they can fucking break free and feel alive like a fucking human being. We got to remember, folks, people over government, not government over people. And remember, ask what you do for your country, not what your country can do for you. Okay? Remember the great words of some of our great leaders, like JFK, who was murdered, along with everybody else in that time period. Malcolm X, MLK, just so many. Oh, the other Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy. But JFK, wow. And he spoke a lot of truth. If you can listen to any speech of his over that time period before he was assassinated in 1963, then you will hear the truth that echoes out today. That could have been different. So much different world, folks. When you start looking at life and how it was then, and you could just see the steps all the way to where we are now. There's no reason why you're almost paying double within a year for the same products that are not short in supply and demand, that aren't things that need to be produced. Rent shouldn't have gone up for anybody. There's so much makes no sense. And it all comes back to corporate regulations and the way the chase for those profits. That's all that matters. And they're fucking you over. They're fucking you over, and I don't care what party you're in. You need to let that shit go. I know what they were based on and all that kind of... They're not the parties that they used to be. And if you don't see that they're not the same motherfucking shit that are just fighting... It's like watching a family fight within itself. There's no winner. They're all still going to be fucking family. You know what I mean? You need to kick that shit out. That's not even a two-party system. That's not even a two-party system. That's just two different paths to get to the same destination. We need a different destination. It's called people representation. We need it. We need it quick. And any Joe Blow on that list, besides Republican and Democrat, will give it to you. Why don't you take a chance, folks? Why don't you do the obvious fucking thing and stop being idiots? Because you can't blame anybody anymore. You can't blame anybody but yourself. Own that shit in the voting booth and take a chance and do something for your country for a change. Much love and laughter is the only thing that can conquer hate and fear, folks. You got to deal with it. If you don't, it's just going to get worse. So, be a conqueror. Don't be a victim in that booth.